So, should Iran have nuclear weapons? Is that a good thing? Objectively, no. There is no justifiable reason for Iran to have nuclear weapons, or any country for that matter. You're never going to hear me defend nuclear weapons without context. If I think a country should have nuclear weapons, there's always context. But my default opinion on any given nation is that no, there should be no nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons have changed everything, they've ruined everything in terms of warfare. Let's use the very simple example of Russia and Ukraine. Russia, right about here, Ukraine, right around here. So, this conflict happening here, Ukraine very easily could have won with the support of the EU and North America. That's Canada and the US. I don't know how Mexico feels, but those two countries. If only Russia didn't have nuclear weapons. Russia's nuclear capability is the major deterrent stopping Ukraine from winning this entire war with the support of its allies. That's why this has been prolonged. That's why there are so many deaths. So it's because of nuclear weapons that there are more deaths, because war cannot be more decisively resolved. No, Iran should not have nuclear weapons. But have we seen any evidence that Iran is actually credibly working quickly to develop nuclear weapons? Have we seen any evidence of that? Secondly, what we're seeing in the Zionist regime in occupied Palestine is, in an era of neo-colonialism, one of the last true colonial entities. Look at this. You have colonizers from Poland, all of Europe pretty much. You have colonizers from Europe, and truthfully, I hate to get into biology, but their skin betrays them. There's a reason Israel doesn't allow DNA tests. There's a reason many of them burn in the sun. Many of them don't tan. Their DNA testifies against them and their lies. They are not endemic. They are not native to the Levant. These are not Palestinians. The true Jews of that area are Palestinian Jews. The Palestinian Christians are the descendants of Palestinian Jews who came to follow Jesus, peace be upon him. Palestinian Muslims are the descendants of Palestinian Jews and Palestinian Christians who then came to follow the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Palestine already has Jews. It already has the Jewish people, the natives endemic to the area. These new people are European colonizers, many of whom aren't even religiously Jewish. They're just using it as a justification to colonize the land. So I know Israel takes a lot of American Jewish people, puts them into the settlements, right? So what we're seeing is a colonist entity, a colony pretty much, of the Anglosphere and really the axis of tyranny after World War II. And what we're seeing is this is a massive threat. This is the belligerent agent in the Middle East. This is the one starting all the conflicts. You have conflicts with Egypt, conflict with Saudi Arabia, conflict with UAE, even though because of US soft power and because of their own greed, Saudi Arabia, UAE are normalizing relations with this genocidal entity. But the question is, when all of your neighbors hate you, are all your neighbors wrong? All of them? What? Because they're Arab? Because they're Muslim? These countries are all very different from each other. Very different. They're similar, but they're distinct. So if all of these countries don't have good relationships with Israel, that's very telling of Israel, not of the countries. Iran sees what's happening here. Iran sees the genocide of the Palestinian people. It wants to resist that. Further, not just the genocide. Let's be a little unempathetic and let's look outside the genocide. Iran, using its strategy, it sees a colonial entity at its back door in its neighboring lands. It sees this. Do you think Iran is just going to sit by and just let that happen? When President Trump, who came in as a hawk disguised as a dove, that's how he won this office. He was a hawk painted white. He flew into this office that way. That's how he did it. So if President Trump tweets at Shah Khomeini and is threatening his life, and we see Israel continuing airstrikes, then how do you think Iran is going to feel? Do you think they're going to feel very comfortable? Very comfortable and very willing to have peace talks? No, not at all. They're going to feel very threatened, and that feeling of being threatened is going to make them very hostile. This is very dangerous for the American people and for the world, because Iran never had any incentive or motivation to develop, it never had more incentive and motivation to develop nuclear weapons than it does right now, because the current regime is overtly threatened by the US and by Israel. For self-preservation, they have never had a greater incentive, a greater motive to develop nuclear capability than right now. Trump is not helping. He's accelerating. Netanyahu never wanted to help, but he's certainly accelerating. He's doing that. He's doing what he wanted. His evil intentions. So, war is not the way to do this. Do I think that we're going to invade Iran on the ground? I don't think so. That would be like the most disastrous outcome, because other countries may get involved. Pakistan has declared its support for Iran. They share a border. Let me draw it for you. India. That's Pakistan. Over here is Afghanistan. So Iran, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, they all share a border with each other. Pakistan is the only nuclear power in the entire Muslim world. And if I just outline the Muslim world for you, it looks like this. North Africa, Middle East, Pakistan. Yeah, that's what it's pretty much. Who do you think Israel and the US are going to come after once they denuclearize Iran? Pakistan is next. Pakistan is Israel's worst nightmare because it is a nuclear capability in a Muslim country. Israel hates Pakistan. So that's next. That's why Pakistan, out of a feeling of being threatened, has declared support for Iran. Other countries may involve themselves if we on the ground invade Iran. It is a terrible decision. Trump hated the invasion of Iraq, and now he's still trying to, this is the exact same situation. He's trying to get into Iran. Does he not see the irony of his own foolishness? It's very bad. If we are going to denuclearize a country, whether that's Iran or North Korea or anybody else, it has to be done diplomatically. It's not going to be done militarily. It just won't happen. It's not going to work. Let's pretend that it does happen. We send troops into Iran. Iran strikes Israel, strikes US bases all over the Middle East. Then we could see the involvement of other axes of resistance. We could see the involvement of Russia, who already isn't feeling too great about the USA and their involvement in Ukraine. We can see China possibly invade Taiwan, or China assist Iran. The axis of resistance and the axis of tyranny, this battle is already happening. First on the front of Ukraine, second on the front of, right here, Israel and Iran. So I'll say it again. We have never been closer to World War III than we are right now in this decade. Things must be done diplomatically. Has to be done that way. So my prediction is that Trump said 2 weeks. We all know he's stalling. Everybody knows that. He's way out of his depth. He has no idea what he's doing. But I hope that with these 2 weeks, the temperature kind of goes down and these countries come to the table, negotiations